And so the arguments are very passionate and very heartfelt. They really feel like, oh my gosh, you're going to die. Magnus begs Prime to accept the treaty, asking Prime to choose slavery over freedom. To Prime, slavery is extinction also. He says it is extinction either way. Red Alert, the doctor, tends to Bumblebee, and he was a doctor before the war, now a soldier. While Prime promotes their cause as a survival, Bumblebee refuses to get involved and tells them that they are all going to get themselves killed. And so the arguments are very passionate and very heartfelt. They really feel like, oh my gosh, you're going to die. This is they really feel like these cartoon robots have become real people. They become real characters in this real world that we're experiencing with them. It's awesome. Megatron presents his assassination attempt as a victim of the Autobot terrorists, lying through his teeth, trumpeting his righteousness that has been betrayed by the Autobots. Jetfire and Starscream argue their two different approaches to the Seekers. Megatron concludes that the only way for them to win the war is through the exploitation of Prime's weakness. He's like, the only way we're going to do this is through we're going to forge weapons from his weaknesses, honor, brotherhood, love, all these things. We're going to take them and use them against him. And that was great. This episode opens up with the Decepticons base, which looks like a gladiatorial, like an arena type of cylindrical thing. I think it's going to be a ship. I think it's going to be their ship. Ultra Magnus officially surrenders himself to the custody of the Decepticons, reminiscing with Megatron about the Battle of Tannhauser Gate. And so we see that later, Tannhauser Gate, where Magnus leads them to believe that he's taking him to the base, but it's just nothing. My guess is that Tannhauser Gate was a space bridge, but I guess it wasn't. It was just like a location of... Apparently it was like the largest battle in history. Magnus and Megatron discuss how they had both saved each other's lives and fought alongside each other and won a battle together, fighting as brothers. Magnus pleads with Megatron to sit down with him and Prime. Magnus is a noble character with an undying desire for peace, pleading with him and concluding that neither side will win this war and that there will only be further death. When it has been realized that Magnus has surrendered to Megatron, Alita gets bossy and tells everyone to settle down. She's like, settle down, everybody. It's like, she just doesn't know how to be like subtle. She just has to be like this, like trumpet in like a nursery. That's kind of what she is. She's like this like crazy SJW, like screaming at people. That's kind of what she is in this show. Prime reveals that he and Magnus have different views on the war. Magnus believes that it is time to stop fighting, and Prime exclaims valiantly that he will never stop fighting for our freedom. That was a great moment. He's like, I will never stop fighting for our freedom. Alita 1 is appointed to military command, and Prime says that he will never allow Megatron to enslave Cybertron. Till all are one. Till all are one. Shockwave is the mad scientist of the Decepticons, and evidently he has a team searching the depths of Cybertron for ancient relics and weapons. Although thought to be a legend, he has discovered through the historical works of Alpha Trion that the Allspark is real and well within their grasp. Shockwave continues to reveal his plan to de-res and reformat all the Autobots' minds into loyal Decepticons. Magnus overhears this and transmits the plan to the Autobots. This moment gives real depth to Megatron's character. When faced with the decision to reformat them, he has to reconsider because this is without honor, right? They just exclaim without honor. And so it gives a lot of depth to Megatron. Prime receives the transmission, and although he questions Magnus's choices, he doesn't question his faith in him. Prime is obsessed with finding the Allspark before the Decepticons. Soundwave fabricates Magnus's voice into a fake transmission, hacking his frequency. As they slowly fall into the trap, Prime is continuously blinded by his faith in Magnus, unaware that it could be fraudulent. This whole time, of course, Alita 1 is just nagging him, just saying, "You're doing the wrong thing, Optimus." It's awful. I mean, it would just be one thing if she was actually legitimately worried, but she's just she overdoes it with her voice that it's like her voice doesn't make it believable. It makes it feel like she's trying to assert herself. Like she sounds more angry than worried. Like she's worried her character's supposed to be worried, but she's acting angry. That's the problem. She's using the wrong emotion. The trap is sprung and several casualties are suffered. And who steals Prime's line? Of course, one of the women, one of the female Autobots, steal Optimus Prime's line. She steals, that's Prime's line. I did enjoy the story that the Impactor goes through. He's probably one of the most interesting arcs there, because he ends up like, I mean, he's kind of cocky. He's a very cocky individual at first. They show him, and he's just like, he's one of Megatron's best military, right? That's what Megatron says about him. He says that he was one of his best. And so then we have him kind of get knocked down and kind of destroyed, and then rescued by Ratchet, and then he ends up, you know, being taken care of by that, and his loyalties go to Ratchet. And that's just a great moment. He's like, you saved me, you took care of me, you took me in, I'm loyal to you now, I owe you a life debt. And that was a great moment. And then he ends up, like, towards the very end, just fighting alongside the Autobots, and that was just like such a cool arc. I think, oh yeah, so he actually saves Ratchet right before Ratchet's going to open the space bridge at the very end. That was a great, wonderful moment there. Prime elects to remove the Allspark from Cybertron, although the consequences of his world result in the death of Cybertron. Prime is determined to not let Cybertron die. So he's wanting to do these paradoxical things, right? That everybody is against. Everybody is just like, what are you doing, Prime? You're crazy. It's kind of funny and interesting. Like, he's kind of like a Captain Kirk, I guess. You kind of look at him as kind of like a Captain Kirk, but if Captain Kirk was being sidelined, or not sidelined, but constantly you know, given crap by his own crew. As Starscream and the Seekers conspire, Starscream says that Megatron's disgusting plan, reformatted Autobots, will dilute our race as Decepticons. So Starscream's kind of a little bit. He says, could you imagine one of them as one of us, diluting their Decepticon warrior race, ruining their honorable warrior heritage? If you ask me, that would dilute our race as Decepticons, ruining our honorable warrior heritage. Imagine them being one of us. They wouldn't be true Decepticons. Jetfire says that Starscream's false sense of superiority will be his doom. And of course, Starscream returns with Jetfire's blind loyalty will be his own demise. Jetfire is alerted to his expendability when Megatron says that the tools can be replaced. So he's like, I thought I was a tool, so you're gonna, okay. He realizes he can be totally ditched by Megatron. He realizes how he realizes how ungrateful Megatron is for him, I guess. Or like how he's been loyal to Megatron, but for a long time it appears that he's been loyal to Megatron for a long time, but he doesn't. He's experiencing like doubt in that right away. He's like, wow, okay, yeah. So it's like, I've given you all this time, and I'm getting really nothing in return. I'm not getting any loyalty back, you know. And I think that's important. Reciprocal loyalty. Like, how could loyalty survive without reciprocation, right? I don't know. I guess some people would be able to make it one-sided. I have no idea.